This jacket has never been near an animal. It wasn't made from cows or plastic or anything you'd expect. It was grown from—
I'm going to show you something, and I want you to guess what it's made of before I tell you.
It's not cowhide. It's not synthetic plastic.
What you're looking at right now will end up as a $400 designer jacket. No animals, no plastic, just this.
It wasn't made from cows or plastic or anything you'd expect.
It was grown from a single spore in a lab in about 2 weeks.
If you're new here, welcome. We go inside the world's most surprising production processes to show you how things are really made. And right now, some of the biggest fashion brands on Earth are quietly switching to it.
Today, we're going inside the facility where leather stops being leather and starts being something else entirely.
Rows of trays stacked floor to ceiling, each one slowly filling with living white mycelium. This starts with agricultural waste, sawdust, corn stalks, or other plant byproducts most farms would throw away. This waste is sterilized and packed into shallow trays,
Becoming the food source for the fungus.
Every tray is carefully measured before the growing process even begins. Mycelium spores are introduced to the trays and moved into a humidity and temperature-controlled room.
Over roughly 2 weeks, the fungus spreads through the substrate. Each strand grows outward until it fuses into a single solid sheet.
Once the mat reaches the right thickness, workers carefully peel it away from the tray.
At this stage, it still looks nothing like leather. The raw mycelium sheet goes through a finishing process similar to traditional leather tanning. Dyeing, texturing, and treating the surface
To make it flexible, durable, and water-resistant.
The transformation from fungus to fabric is almost complete.
Every batch goes through the exact same quality process.
The finished material is cut and stitched exactly like real leather.
Using the same equipment traditional leather workshops use.
The finished material is finished with the same precision as real leather goods. Major fashion houses have already released real products made from this material. And the industry is scaling fast as demand for animal-free leather grows. If this blew your mind, subscribe. Next time we're going inside another factory making something you'd never expect.